Hey guys, how's it going? So today actually we're going to be going through this problem called rolling bank transaction. So it's a hard problem, but I'll try by all means to simplify it in such a way that you guys can actually understand. So we are told that we're given a table of bank transactions with three columns. The first one being the user ID, a deposit or a withdrawal value. This is denoted as a transactional value. And created at is our last column. We need to write a query to get the total 3-day rolling average for deposit by day. I know this might sound very weighty, but we're going to simplify this problem. The first thing that I'll advise you to do is that when you're in an interview, what going to happen is that you're not given a code editor or to see the table how it looks like. So you need to get used to visualize these problems in a tabular format in your mind. So this is what we're going to do, is that we're going to create this table ourselves. That okay, they're told that we're given a created at I can think of this as a date. So for now, let's think of this as a day or something like that. So it does not have time. Let's think of it, that's to simplify it, right? Then we told that we have a value, right? Then the question states that we need to get the 3-day rolling average for deposit by day. Okay, so we know that we need to derive a column. This column is gonna called moving average. Okay, so this has to be by 3 days. Okay, for now let's pass like our dummy values inside here so that we can understand what is moving average. So let's say we have day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and let's assume that on day 1 maybe we made a withdrawal of 10, day 2 12, 8, 14, 9. So when they say moving average of 3 days, essentially we look at the current value and the previous two values. For instance, let's say here we have 10, so it does not have two previous values, so we look up. So you need to order this day by in an ascending fashion, starting at day 1 up to going forward. So you look at this day, like, okay, what was the previous 2 days? There was none, so 10 is gonna come here. You look at the second day, what was the two previous days? There is none. So what you need to do is gonna take 10 and you're gonna say plus 12. You're gonna take these two because you don't have 3 days previously. So we're gonna divide by 2. I think this is gonna give you 11. Then you come to the third day. Now here, right? So what you do is that you take the current day, which is 8, and you look for the 2 previous days, so which is 10 and 12. So you're just gonna add them. You're gonna say 10 plus 12. So 10 plus 12, I think it's 22, plus 8 is gonna be 30. Then you're gonna divide by 3 because it's 3-day average. Then you're gonna get 10. You do the same. Now you don't look 10 because they say 3 days. So when you're here, you're gonna look at 14. You're gonna look at 8. You're gonna look at 12. So these are the 3 values, right? Then you divide by 3. Similarly, even the last value, you're gonna take 9. You say, okay, 2 previous values, what is it? It's 8 and 14. So you take 14 plus 8 and divide by 3. And you just continue doing this. And that's what they mean by moving average. And we're gonna see how we can calculate this in our SQL script. So what are the edge cases? What are the things that could actually affect our logic that we just spoke about? The first thing that I want to think about is that this created date, are they giving us this created date as a time? Like they can say time, for example, let's say 30 Jan, right, 2023. But then there's a time here, 10 p.m. or something like that. So because of now the question clearly states that this should be by a day. So what you need to do, just for you to make sure that you're doing this by a day, the first step is that you need to make sure that you group by day. That's the first thing. That's the first step. Just make sure that you take your data group by day, so that you make sure that you're not working with time. So because you can do all of these averaging calculation, but you might be doing them on the time. So you just need to make sure that your data is in the right granularity format. Okay, I hope that makes sense. What's next? I think that's the most important thing, and yeah, let's get into the code. I'll explain a lot of things, but I just want you to kind of like remember this picture and this explanation. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Let's get into the code then. So now we are on our code editor, so we're gonna try to code this. So the first thing that I would like to do is to handle the edge case by actually getting the data by the day granularity. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna call this with deposit totals, because I'm getting the total deposit by day. So I'm gonna say as I'm gonna definitely make my select statement. And because now I see that I'm given this column called created at, and I want to create a date, so I'm going to use this function called date trunk. So we're going to say day, and we're going to say created at, okay, and I'm going to call this as day because I want to group by that. Then what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make sure that I sum the transactional value. Transactional value. Okay, then I'm gonna say this is all coming from I think we were told that the table name is called bank transactions. Okay, then the last thing that I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna group by the day. Okay, it's okay. So in an interview, you're not even allowed to kind of like say, okay, can I do a select and see what my credits return? So I'm not going to do that. So we're going to assume that here we're getting the day and we're getting the sum, maybe the total sum for that day. So that's how we're going to think about it, right? So the next step that I'd like to do is to just do the three day average, just like we explained. So what I'm gonna do is that instead I'm gonna say 3 day average is gonna be S. So we're gonna say select. I'm gonna select day. I'm gonna select total. We call this. Okay, I'm just gonna call this as total deposit, as total deposit total. No. Total value. I think it makes sense, eh? Total value. So I'm just gonna select that here. Okay. So here I'm just gonna write this code, and it might sound it might seem like quite not familiar to some of you, but I'll try by all means to explain it. So what I'm gonna do essentially is just to get the total. I'm averaging the total value, but I have to average it over 3 days. So what I'm doing is that I'm using this window functions. These are what we call window functions. So I'm gonna say over. I don't have to partition because we're doing this per day, so we're already on the date granularity, so that's fine. So that's why here I don't write partition by. So I'm just gonna go straight to order, okay, because I want to order by day, because remember that we want to get average by 3 days. So we're gonna make sure that our data is ordered in ascending order by date. So I'm gonna write this thing called rows between. So you can think of this code as I'm saying that please get me the two previous rows, right? So I'm gonna say two preceding and current row, right? I'm gonna say current rows. Actually, I think it's a row, and I'm gonna call this as rolling 3 day. Okay, so just to make sure that I did not make a mistake, so I'm saying order by day, order by day, then I'm saying rows between two preceding and current row. So two previous and the current row, that's 3, right? So as rolling 3 days. So that's what I'm going to call the total. All of this is coming from deposit totals. I want to say something, guys. Then, if you don't know the syntax, it's fine. For me personally, it's fine because I feel like the most important thing is kind of like think about the problem, like the critical thinking, how you'll approach it. That's what I think maybe is what is important for me personally, because the code, you can always look it up, you can always go to the internet and ask how do I get the previous row, and maybe if you forgot, right, maybe some of you might forget the syntax, but yeah, this is how we do it. But if you forget it, don't just feel bad. It's one of those things that we don't memorize code, we just like critical thinkers, and that's what we do as developers, right? So yeah, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna select I'm just gonna make sure that please use the format YM month for the date in the output. I think I think yeah, they made the output. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna use this format that we're told about. And sorry guys, I forgot to tell you about this. Yeah, but we just need to do that. So I'm just gonna say to character, and what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna pass the day, and I just want to make sure that I'm just gonna say YYY and MM month and DD day. Okay, so I'm gonna say this is as DT, and I'm just gonna take the rolling 3-day window, and I'm gonna selecting this from 3-day average. And if I run this, I think I made a mistake. Hopefully I did not. I knew it. So what's going on? It says that syntax error near sum. Okay, let's see. What did we do? So we forget a comma, right? Yes, we did. We did forget a comma. Okay, another error. What is it? So it says bank transaction does not exist. What did I call this? Bank transactions. I forgot the spelling for transactions. So yes. So let's see. Oh no, too many errors. Oh, it says column transactional value does not exist. What did I say? Transaction value, and I said transactional value. Where am I getting these columns from? This is hilarious. Okay, this is incorrect. So why is it incorrect? Did I make a mistake also? Let's see. Oh, it looks like yeah, because of here we're summing all the transaction values, right? So it's like we're summing all the, remember that we're looking for the deposit, but here we're summing everything. So remember that we also summing the withdrawals, and the withdrawals has a negative. So don't forget that they said that the transactional value it is deposit or withdrawal value, but we are looking for a rolling average for total deposit. So what we need to do here is that we need to sum only for deposit. If we sum also for withdrawal, remember that withdrawal has negative, so they're always going to make our results to be off. So what we need to do in case here, we just need to make sure that we have a case statement. And sorry guys about that if I did confuse it there. I think I was supposed to explain it also this part, but anyway, so we're gonna say case when transaction it's called transactional value transaction. I'm just gonna copy this just to avoid silly parts. So when transaction is greater than 0, so we know that deposit is gonna be greater than 0, so we're just gonna say then transactional value Then when it's negative, we know that it's a withdrawal. So I'm just gonna say else 0. Then I'm gonna end the statement. And now let's give it a try. And it works. I'm gonna submit the solution. Perfect. So thank you guys. I have to say I apologize for not explaining this part here. Yeah, I kind of like overlooked it, but yeah, sorry about that. So essentially, the transactional value, this column, denote two things. It is either a deposit or a withdrawal. And if you read careful on the equation, we are told that we want the rolling average for a deposit. So yeah, that's that. And we just needed to make sure that we get that. So yeah, I think that's all to this problem. And one key takeaway for me definitely is that how you calculate the rolling average using this function, window function. I think that will be a key thing in the future. If you get a rolling average question, then you won't forget. Yeah, I think that's all from me. And these type of functions from Postgres, like to char and the date trunk, don't forget them also. I think they might be handy when you're using them at work or anything like that. So that will do it, guys. Thank you very much. See you in the next one.